Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and studies going in full swing. In today's video, I want to discuss 5 important mistakes that you should avoid doing in these last few days and ensure that you kind of get a very good result and you do a proper preparation. Okay, this is mainly for your FR and AFM but can even apply to your other subjects as well. First and foremost, do not skip the smaller topics or do not ignore them. It's a very common tendency for students, at least in topics like FR, to kind of ignore the smaller indices, or in AFM ignore the smaller topics like risk management, value at risk, etc. These are very scoring. It is almost certain that a few questions of your paper are going to come from the smaller topics, and there's very limited that the institute can ask from these. So rather than leaving them and taking that risk, might as well just touch upon that and you get almost a direct question. Please ensure that you don't leave the smaller topics, even if that comes into your A, B or C category. Just touch upon that. Do not leave them. Second is, when you're doing a practical subject preparation, student ends up like theory, just reading stuff, reading question, reading problems, reading question, reading problems. Now I can understand that you are running short of time and it is humanly impossible to complete by solving on pen and paper each and every problem. No, I'm not telling you to do that. However, it is very important that you maintain some bit of practice. How? Well, if there are, let's say, 50 problems in a particular chapter, let us assume it's a numerical chapter. If it's a case-based question, yes, you can read it. But if it's a numerical chapter, let's say if there are 50 questions, maybe 15-20 questions which are simpler ones you can just glance through. For other 15-20 questions, you can calculate on your calculator at least and do a rough working, and at least 10 of those problems, I'm saying not more than 20%, that's fine, and that is not an ambitious ask. 20% of the problems in chapters like EPS, maybe 1 or 2 problems on diluted EPS, 1 or 2 problems on basic EPS, right shares. You try to do it on pen and paper, it will give you invaluable feedback, clarity on where you are making the silly mistakes, because you will end up making or losing out some or the other small adjustment which will have a cascading effect. Ensure that at least 20% of a particular chapter is done on pen and paper, not necessarily preparing a full detailed schedule 3. No, that's fine. You do it on pen and paper at least so that you get a good grip. Do not just read. Third is not writing any test or a full 100-mark paper. Now, if you have a test series and if you can write, or if you have written, it is well and good. But otherwise, if you don't have to go searching for 50 different test series. You can go and download one of a random institute past paper in the last 4 years. Let it be random, and you download and write it. When do you write it? When you're doing this revision. Now let's say you take FR or AFM, you complete that in 7, 8, 10 days, whatever it is. After that, just write one paper, 3 hours. Sir, why is it needed? I am running out of time. It's okay to run out of time now, not okay to run out of time in those 3 hours in your exam. So when you're writing for those 3 hours, you don't know currently whether you want to accelerate, reduce speed, to hardly kabhi aayega. When do you accelerate? You want to know that, because now you have everything in your mind, but you don't have 5 hours to write it. You have only 3 hours. So how to optimize for time? One paper, one. If you have more time, great. Sir, I don't have that. But one paper, one past paper, and you will realize that how do you manage time? Like you say, 100 marks, 100 marks and 180 minutes, that's approximately 1.8 minutes per mark. How do you actually look at that? Consolidation will take more time. Maybe a accounting standard will take lesser time. Maybe a capital budgeting sum might take more time, but let us say a small forex sum might take lesser time. It is the judgment cannot be told to you. The judgment comes when you do one paper at least. So ensure that you spend 3 hours, 3 and 3, 6 hours of all the time that you have for FR and FM. Write the paper, especially for FR. Okay, keeping theory topics for the end. Now, this is more so for AFM, also for FR. In AFM paper, as you would be aware, around 15 to 20 marks, that's massive, comes from theory. What do? We just focus on the practicals, and we say, chalo, theory last mein kar denge. But that is a theory that can kind of make or break, right? So 15 marks is huge. Why do you want to take a chance for that? Even in FR, you will have around 5 to 8 marks. Chapters like accounting and technology, maybe ethics, I would say ethics, you will get a case. Or you have a conceptual framework chapter. Why would you want to do it just at the end? Ensure that if you know that one question is going to come from here, or 2 or 3 in AFM is going to come from here, I'm not saying that you do it 20 times. Yes, but at least do it along with your regular preparation. And now that you are at the end where your retention value is the highest, this is the point where you at least have to spend some time in getting your theory in place. If you want, you can refer to videos and kind of that might help you in retaining theory, or you might read whatever is comfortable to you, but ensure you do theory and don't just keep it for the end. And last, strengths and weaknesses, and this is very important in your later time of preparation. Now that you are in almost a later stage of your preparation, it is very, very important that you consolidate on your strengths. Now, for example, there is a chapter on advanced capital budgeting in your AFM. Now, a lot of sums over there, you might think that this is similar to, maybe if you have done the older course, similar to inter CA, we'll say, okay, we'll manage it. Yeah, remember, this is, if this is your strength, you should be so sure that whatever sum comes from here, I will crack it. So I have to consolidate my strengths. What we do, and rightly so, is we run behind our weaknesses. We always focus on derivatives and this. Okay, you should do that. By no means I'm saying you should not, but not at the cost of your strength. At this stage of your preparation, you need confidence, you need momentum, you need the marks that you know to come to you, certainly. And as a result, ensure that you consolidate on your strengths. Don't ignore them. Otherwise, at the end, maybe you might not be able to score on that, what you say as low hanging fruit. Weaknesses, try to improve the extent possible in this month. When you go into the month of October, before your exams or whatever is your attempt, when you go 1 month before, don't refer anything new. Refer what you have done and just work on that. Referring new kind of puts you in a spot and it shakes your confidence. Now, you had to refer, you refer it early. If you have not, it's impossible to cover everything that is there under the sun, right? It's a huge course. So if you, whatever you have done, ensure on strengthening that. So out of the entire paper of 100 or 120 marks with options that comes, you will get a lot of sums which you know and which are your stronger chapters. So focus in consolidating them. For your weaker chapters, what you have done, just touch upon that. Don't refer 20 new sources of material. Whatever is done, refer that and you should be in a very good shape. So ensure that you keep these 5 things in mind. Avoid kind of falling for avoiding any of the things that we have discussed, and hopefully you should be able to crack it well. Okay? So keep studying well and keep your momentum going. Keep the spirits high and hopefully you will get a very good score and result. Keep studying and back yourself. Goodbye, good luck and see you soon.